Hey guys, this is Trevor LC100, part 2 of my school project video. Now, what I've done already, taken apart the motor, part 1. Now this is going to be another recap. You need a star-shaped tool, a flathead, vice grips, WD-40, and a tool that tightens the spark plug. Now, what I'm going to do is put it all back together. Set it right on my tripod. It's actually not a tripod, it's just a can. Now, what you want to do is put the piston inside the cylinder. It's not going to fit right because of the ring. You're going to have to smush the ring. There. Now, what you also want to do is grab the bottom of it. Put it on there. Let me get down to the camera angle. Now, while you're putting it on, you will also want to connect the rod that is inside the... that is on the shaft. Here we go. And I can't see. After you get done doing that, check see if all hole that you can see all holes. What you guys hear in the background, if you are able to hear it, are my friends. There. Now, everything's all lined up. Put the screws in on the carburetor side first. Well, you don't have to do it first, but I chose to. You can also do this with a flathead because my screws have a star-shaped head and a flathead on it. Now on the other side, remember that plate that I told you guys about? You're going to need it. You got to put this back on. And yes, you do need it. Don't be like, piece of metal, who cares? It does matter because it helps cool the motor from the crankshaft. Now you don't want to torque them down just yet. You got to get them all in there first, and then you want to torque them down diagonally. Now since they're all in, torque them down diagonally. Some of them you might have to do 2 cranks, some of them 1. So there we go. Now, the piston's in. And what I'm going to do is put the back cover on it. Now, this part also has a gasket. You're going to want to put this on too. Make sure it lines up. And also, don't forget to put the gas tank back on. Because most Weed Eater engines, their gas tanks are held in with this plate, which mine it was. So now, cracked my back, sorry guys. Put the rubber tabs back on, put the gasket on, put the exhaust, hang on, put the exhaust, what am I thinking? Put the gas tank back on, and remember, this still does have fuel in it. Put that back on, if you can. Then put this back cover on it. And then you want to put this back plate on it, which mine I spray painted red so I can color code it. Now you're going to have to find your screws, star-shaped of course. Just push them in. Like, don't do anything to them just yet. Push them all in so that your gas tank can just sit there. Now I'm putting 3 in now so I can just tighten it up. Now if you get a little dirty, oh well. Mine is like cleaned mostly because I had to spray paint it, so I like took a compressor to it, cleaned it. The inside's all clean. Spark plug, I'm going to clean with it for you guys. That one I saved for this video because cleaning a spark plug is most crucial. Now, I'm not going to put the 2 last bolts in. I only put 3 in for now because I have other stuff to put on this first. Now, I'm going to put the carburetor back on. You want to put this back plate on first because it has this shield, which I call it a shield, to protect the actual, you could say the carburetor from actually coming in contact with the actual motor. Now I gotta find my bolts that went to it. Oh, well, dang it, guys. I cannot find them right at the second. I honestly forgot where I put them. That's one thing you never want to do, is forget where you put your carburetor bolts. I just made a huge mistake, because that's not going to work. I don't know what bolts these are for. I hope they're not for the Magneto. If they are, I'll just take some off my friends. Because like he owes me, so don't be that mean to your friends. Now with these, you can torque them down all the way because there's only 2 bolts. Slide the gasket on it, which is this part. Now there's only one way that this should be able to go on. If it doesn't, just like make up on how it goes. Now for my motor, you do the throttle inside of the carburetor. I mean inside of the block, so that it lines up perfectly. I hook up the hoses right away. There's only one of them now that I can't, and that is to the primer, which I will get to that. Now you want to put the back cover on, because this goes to your carburetor. Only if I can find the holes. And these came with little tiny bolts. Now I also forgot to tell you guys to get one tool. I use a 3/8 screwdriver that is made for these kind of bolts. The reason why I use a screwdriver, not a ratchet, is because I over tighten them with a ratchet. Now after you get this on, you might want to hook up the hoses to the primer before you actually do anything else. Which, hooking them up, I just connect the, well mine it's blue, the blue wire closest to the gas tank, and the other wire, which I've duct taped because it had a small leak in it, but duct tape fixes everything, and hook that to the other side of the carburetor. Give it a couple primes, it works. Now, what I'm going to do is put the, what you guys call fluffy thing, I call it the filter. Put that back in there, put this plate back on there. gotta find the... There we go. Found it. Put this back on because most carburetors will not run, or engines will not run, if dirt gets inside the motor because it'll ruin it. So I'm just torquing them down, or actually I don't have to. I'm torquing them down. With my star-shaped. Now what this part I'm going to do is put the magnetron back on. Which, yes, you do need it. Now, the way to get this set perfectly is get sandpaper, because like the magnetos have to be set a right way or else they will not run. Now, for my sandpaper, I'm using I think 40 grit sandpaper. Yeah, 40 grit sandpaper. And I'm going to squeeze this. Actually, I need a bigger piece. Squeeze this in between, and no, this will not hurt your motor. Push the magnet back through. Now tighten everything up. And I'm still using the star-shaped tool, or screwdriver. Tighten that up, move the, and just pop it right out. And it, there. That's in. Now, put this aside. Now, I'm going to show you how to clean one of these. The spark plug. Take a wire bench brush, actually I'm going to do it on some metal, where honestly you guys can't see it, but sorry, you can hear me doing it though. Just like, clean the threads, and while you're doing this, you're also cleaning the inside of it. Put the wire brush up, and it looks cleaner than what it did. I'm not going to spray it with WD-40 because it will ruin it. Put the spark plug back in the top of the cylinder. Hand tighten it, and then grab your tool for spark plugs. Torque it down with a screwdriver. Just like, don't even torque it all the way. Put the cap back on. There. That's how it started, and that's how it looks. Now, what I'm going to do is sign out. This is Trevor LC100, making part 2 of a school project. Wait till number 3.